Why do we break out of bounds in video games? Why do we data mine, hack, mod, looking for little tidbits of what could be remnants of cut content in our game? Why do we spend hours scouring the internet looking for alpha and beta content, downloading videos and screenshots, sometimes even prototype versions of games that we know were obtained by illegitimate means? Some pundits would tell you it's because we're greedy goldfish that just want more, even when it starts to hurt us sometimes, like Disney+. But this is the question that I ended up asking myself when trying to do what I thought would be the simple task of making an introduction welcome video for my channel. Why have I been doing these things with my video games for almost as long as I've been playing them? Of course there's a part of it that is just wanting more of your favorite things. I mean, who can't understand that? That's why we have expanded universe, fan fiction, all that good stuff. But I think there's more in this case, of where a part of it is that desire to explore, to find something new and special that everyone else hasn't seen. Or a lot of times when a game is just really important to you and has been a huge part of your life, so you want to have an experience that's more special, unique to you, more than it says on the back of the box and what everybody else experiences that you've seen before. And then I think there's just kind of a rebellious act of not wanting to be told. We know for the most part that the stuff that's cut and changed from games, movies, all the stuff we love is probably for the better, but we want to see, we want to know, we want to make our own decision. There's, sometimes there's something beautiful that is removed from a product before release for reasons other than that we wouldn't like it, and we just want to know about that. For me, that feeling really matured with a little game you may have seen on YouTube before. Wait, please don't click away, I promise I'll say something interesting. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. So as the 3D age was becoming a reality, it really started to be possible to go beyond just the area where you were intended to play. I mean, sure, you could, get between the blocks and stuff in platformers and things in the past, but the concept of really being able to go beyond the horizon was new, and the stuff that you saw in the background, it was theoretically possible to get there and to look at it up close and to see if maybe at one point you were supposed to be able to go there. When Zelda 64 released, I was 13 years old, and I had already been using a Game Genie to modify my games for the last couple of generations. I had a basic familiarity with hexadecimal machine code and how it's what actually makes the stuff appear on the screen in these games, and how changing values could alter things within the game. But in the past, this really only existed as a concept for cheating, for giving yourselves infinite lives, having infinite moon jump, things like that. And we mostly just used it to screw around for fun because I think we got the Game Genies in the box that we got a lot of our stuff from garage sales, so it wasn't like something that I had sought out to become the master of hacking games or anything at this point until Zelda came out. And suddenly there were all these vistas off in the distance that I was curious about. There were things that I'd seen in screenshots that had been totally changed by the time the game released, and I was, curious if some of that stuff was left hidden in the game. And that just driving curiosity made me go to where I am today, where I'm really obsessed with a lot of that stuff, and I use all sorts of tools to extract every single thing that I can out of the released versions of games to just try and find out more about how it was made, what was it like earlier in development, what were they thinking, just more secrets about the things that really interest me, and really the stuff that's over the horizon, because once you've done all the basic stuff, you kind of wonder, it's like, okay, well, what would it be like if I could go over there, that thing that I've seen over and over again in the background? And this is an example of that. In the Haunted Wasteland, there's a piece of texture that looks like a pyramid, but when you actually go out of bounds, you can just see that it's the edge of a wall that's clipping into view. But, at the time, we didn't have the ability to easily see that, and you can see I have to use the Song of Storms to use lightning to highlight the terrain in the background to even see the thing I'm trying to get to. So the quest and the amount of effort required just to see this supposed pyramid off in the desert, it was really intriguing, and it started to make that part of playing the game for me. This became playing the game, not just collecting all of the heart pieces and beating the dungeons, but trying to realize the things in my imagination. The reason I'm here now making a YouTube channel dedicated to this is that I feel like the video game industry is very much in the same place that the music industry was 50 or 60 years ago, where getting to where the name comes from. You may be familiar with Rolling Stone, well, I guess it was magazine, now Media Enterprises or whatever they call themselves. But when it started out, Rolling Stone was trying to be the real inside story on the music industry by just basically looking at things directly and trying to cut right past the record company and ask, the people making the music. It's like, well, what are you thinking? How do you do this? People want the real story, not just the polished version that the record company wants to put out that they think best suits the image they're trying to project. And I feel that games is really in that place right now, where what we see about how the games were developed and, the secrets of what could have been in the game or what was changed or what goes into these decisions is largely shrouded from us because it goes through this filter of marketing and what they think is in the best interest of the companies. And I really feel that a lot of work needs to be done, probably by us and the fans, because I'm honestly very disappointed with the state of game journalism. Now, this is a bias that I have and something that, you'll have to recognize, but I've been gaming and consuming game journalism for so long that the amount of total scandals and times when we absolutely couldn't believe something that was printed or put on the internet has built that bias in me to where I'm so jaded in it that I don't believe it anymore. When I read a story that says, naked model of Shigeru Miyamoto found hidden in a Mario game, I automatically assume that the journalist is just lazy. It's someone putting a mod in the game that put a screenshot up as a joke, and I have to do all the work myself anyway just to figure out if there's any validity to it. Because, I have to say that's like, this may be a harsh and unfair criticism some would think of journalism, but, a lot of those people back in the day that investigated things, it's like, they wrote for Rolling Stone, they could play guitar themselves. So the fact that a lot of these people I feel like are just sort of casual observers of the gaming industry that don't know how to data mine or hack a game or actually call anyone on what they're saying, and they basically just print what they hear or what they like or what they think will sell, honestly, I really feel like it does us a disservice when we just want to know, how was the game made? What was changed? Why? We're just interested. We love our products. It's mostly not to crucify the game companies. And honestly, I think if we did find out what the decisions we didn't like came down to, it would be those marketing people and a lot of the people that don't actually make the game that made those decisions, and they would have the most to lose from that. And so it's kind of a part of this if it's just, I don't consider myself on the level where I can interview the biggest names and just cut right through the crap and ask them the questions that you want to know. But I at least have the skills to look at the product and take it apart. And I guess I would say I know enough to be dangerous. And we can just look at it ourselves. And I think that that's something that we need. And I would like more channels and, honestly, professional journalists to step up and do it. There has to be somebody out there who actually knows how to do all this stuff themselves that can actually get a job at a media company is willing to work there, which, by the way, I am not. I would never do that. And that's actually the exact opposite of the viewpoint that I want to provide here. I actually don't want to ever take or ask for any money for this content. I'm going to keep making it on whatever stuff I have lying around. I don't have a fancy microphone. I use the headset that I game with. I've got a few mid-range computers that I've cobbled together or people have just given me when there was something wrong with them. And as much time as I can manage while trying to live a somewhat fulfilling life. And that's really what I want to put into it, and I just don't want to be compromised in any way by having a boss or sponsors or a media company or even people donating me $50 and then trying to influence what I put in my content. I also don't have social media accounts. I'm not going to start a Discord server. So really, the influence you get is in the comments when I have time to read them, and I try not to spend too much time reading the comments, and, connecting with me on streams and stuff. For the most part, I want to just go in blind, not be influenced by the opinions of the masses or know what I'm looking for before I look at it. And even when I do, there's this thing you can do, it's amazing, where you have an emotional reaction to something and you put it aside and still keep thinking. And I would like to always try to do that when we're looking at this stuff, because just making emotional reactions and leaping to judgment and trying to say something that's clip-worthy seems to be where a lot of people go, and all we really receive in a lot of cases about something that we might find interesting in the gaming industry. So I'm just gonna always try to take a few deep breaths, not let myself get swayed, even when it's a huge tide of people saying, you have to think this or look at it this way, otherwise you're wrong. Well, right, wrong, or delusional, I hope you'll all come along with me as I investigate for myself and draw my own conclusions. Thanks for watching.